Hi YouTube, it's Kathy, and this is my weekly entertainment wrap-up for June 13th through 19th. This week I read 2 books, I watched 3 shows, and I listened to 1 book. That is an incredible contrast to the 10 books of last week, and part of that's because I was traveling, and part of that's because I just needed to take a break. Also this weekend I've been having troubles focusing on reading, so it is what it is. First this week I read When You Get the Chance, which is a queer road trip book of sorts. It starts off with our 2 point of view characters coming from opposite ends of Canada to Ontario to attend the funeral of their grandfather who has passed away quite suddenly. These 2 characters are cousins and they grew up together, but they haven't really seen each other since because of a falling out between their parents. Both of them, however, are queer and they would both really like to attend Pride in Toronto, but their parents have some different ideas to do with family time. Additionally, they're both going through things with their significant others. The boy cousin is from Halifax and he's got a boy back there who he's just kind of stringing along because he hasn't gotten around to breaking up with him, which is just so not fair and very indicative of how selfish and self-centered this character is. And then our female cousin character is actually from Victoria, which is where I live, and her partner is non-binary and is actually currently in Toronto because they went to Toronto before going to school to work in a queer-based coffee shop before the school year starts, and they are kind of on a rocky road together because they don't know if they're together or not. They kind of broke up, but then they kind of got back together, but they didn't really get back together, so they need to figure it out. I enjoyed this. We got some queer elder characters, we got a road trip element, we've got this little sister of one of the characters that I really loved, and we got a bunch of social commentary, which I also really enjoyed seeing. Overall, this isn't the best book ever, but it was still enjoyable for what it was. The next book I picked up this week was Cattywampus, and this was such a delight. This is a middle grade book about these 2 girls who are both witches and both trying to come into their powers, but they're both having issues and their families are rivals, so they really can't team up to figure it out, although they sort of end up doing that. Delpha's father left her and her mother when she was quite young and just never came back, and since her grandmother has also just passed away, they are dealing with some economic troubles. But while she's clearing out some of her grandmother's stuff, she finds the family's spell book and just really wants to make it work and really wants to use magic even though her mother is opposed to it. Katie Bird also really wants to come into her magic, but she has a feeling that she might not get magic, which is completely unfair because it's passed down matrilineally. She's a girl, but she has a feeling that the fact that she is intersex might complicate things. She constantly has this feeling of doubt in the back of her head telling her these terrible things about how she's not good enough and she's never going to get what she wants because she doesn't deserve it, and that is just such a harsh thing to see. Obviously, these 2 characters are brought together. There is some turmoil and then they have to go on an adventure to fix what they've done. I absolutely love this story. I tore through it. It was such a fantastic book about these characters coming together from these rival families and just figuring their shit out, and I just absolutely loved it. I highly suggest that everybody pick it up. On to what I watched this week. We actually finished Malcolm in the Middle, so we are completely done now. I've now watched all of the episodes of that, which is weird because I definitely hadn't seen them all before. The season finale leaves us with Malcolm graduating and going on to Harvard and hopefully one day to become the President of the United States. We also finished watching Bones, but if you remember, we actually started watching it kind of in the 5th season and went forward, so we actually doubled back to the beginning, and oh my goodness, that is a weird experience because everybody looks super young, everybody's voices are different. Actually, with the exception of Michaela Conlon, she's like 5% different because she's timeless and I just don't understand, but she's a goddess, so it's fine. Booth and Brennan in particular are so much younger and their voices are very different in the pilot, and you can see them coming into themselves even in the 2nd episode and picking up their master gestures and tics that actually become big things throughout the season, so it's fun to watch, but it's also just so weird to see everybody so young after seeing them get to the end of the show. I also watched the season finale of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under, and I am very happy for the queen that won, and that's really all I can tell you because I'm not going to spoil it for you. I had a very good time with this season, and now I'm pretty sure there's going to be another season of one of the iterations of RuPaul's Drag Race starting up near the end of the month, so I shouldn't have to wait too long before I have more Drag Race in my life. And my battery's about to die, so give me 1 second. Well, now that that angle has probably changed a bunch, let's get on to the book I listened to this week, which was The Witch King, and oh my goodness, I need the next book now! This book is about Wyatt, who is a witch that grew up with fairies who have basically colonized a section of the earth because they were kicked out of Fairy. He was actually fated to marry the king of Fairy when he was very young, but he escaped that life because of a traumatic incident. Once he found some humans to take him in and he was very comfortable with them. He had some realizations about both his gender and his sexuality. He realized that yes, he's a dude, and yes, he is into dudes. In fact, some of the funniest parts of this are the many times that he reminds us that, oh my goodness, he is so gay, and I love it. However, out of nowhere, his fiancée tracks him down and brings him back because he needs to have the marriage alliance intact so that somebody else doesn't try to take over the crown. This was so full of political intrigue and really cool magic and these emotions and feelings, and it leaves off in a huge cliffhanger type of place, and I just really need the next one. As absolutely always, Audrey from Perpetual Pages can tell you way more about how awesome this is because I can't form words the way that they can. All I can do is sit here and tell you that I loved this book. I'm going to have to get my own copy, and I cannot wait to read the rest of the series because it is so fantastic. There's so many different characters and their dynamics and the different things that happen, and there was a point in this at the end of, I think, chapter 24 where I was just like, how dare you do this to me? There's just so much, and you all need to read it. That's it for this week. If you've read, watched, or listened to any of these, let me know about it down in the comments below. On the way down to the comments, if you hit that subscribe button, that would be very nice of you. If you don't feel like leaving a comment but want to make sure that I know you were here, just leave me an emoji or a smiley face if you're on your keyboard. Some people have asked if there's a way to financially support this channel, so I set up a Ko-fi account, which is a digital tipping service. The link for that is down below, as well as a link to my PayPal and my Amazon wishlist in case you would like to buy me a book. You can like and share this as you see fit, and I will see you very soon. Bye!